Even though not always given a voice, black women have been an intricate part of U.S. history and when it comes to politics. Growing up and learning about strong black women that fought and helped so others would have their right to be free, I never looked at these women as politicians, but that is exactly what they were. People like Harriet Tubman freed many slaves. She made many trips in and out of any territory to help people get their right of freedom. Also, invisible people like Sojourner Truth. She was born in 1797, a slave in New York. At the age of 11, she was sold along with a flock of sheep for $100. As a young lady, she was sexually abused and often whipped as a slave. She fled in 1926, a year before slavery was abolished in New York. After getting her freedom, she went on to court and challenged the legality of her son being sold. She is known for being one of the first women's rights advocates, and she spoke out about women being able to vote in her 1851 speech, Ain't I a Woman? Later, she is also known to have met with President Lincoln and becomes a trusted advisor. Other forgotten people in history, like Mary McLeod Bethune. After struggling to balance school with work on a plantation to help support her family while younger, Bethune went on to become an educator herself. After founding the Daytona Educational and Industrial Institute for Girls in 1904, her successful leadership of the school gave way to a 1932 merger with the Cookman University, a historical black college. Bethune's educational leadership and advocacy efforts is what positioned her as a civic leader and political activist, earning her a number of presidential appointments. According to the National Council of Negro Women, which she also founded, Bethune was the first African American woman to be involved in the White House and served as the informal race leader at large under Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Her Daytona home is now a National Historic Landmark. In this poem, the rose represents a woman and shows how sometimes you have to make a way out of no way. These pioneers ushered in a new leadership image for the African American woman in the 20th and 21st century. But where are we now? In today's world, African American women are often said to be the backbone of political campaigns. They do everything from making calls, managing offices, registering voters, to voting themselves. According to Roots.com, in the last two presidential elections, the turnout percentage of African American women was greater than all other demographic groups. But we have to find a way to get the young minority women out. They are the future, and they are the only ones who can continue the efforts. For some people, the problem lies in the how and why some African American women are put into leadership roles. Yet still, some continue to argue the fact that more black women running for candidacies for U.S. Senate and other positions will improve relationships between black communities and law enforcement. Currently, several have announced their candidacies for U.S. Senate where there hasn't been an African American female member since 1999. People like Kamala Harris, the California Attorney General. Also, United States Representative Donna Edwards of Maryland, and the Chicago Urban League President and CEO, Andrea Zopp. African American women have been involved in American political issues and advocating for the community since the American Civil War era, through organizations, clubs, and community-based social groups. Issues that deal with identity, racism, and sexism have been important to African American women in the political dialogue. Looking to the future leadership and helping them find their voice is a rite of passage. If this ritual is not kept alive, African American women will lose their voice. We have to decide which way to go.
Women are so important because they're the basis, they're the structure of any civilization. They're the structure of life on this planet as we know it. Women, they keep life going. So if we really want to reach that next level of evolution, like spirituality or building even unity, we have to start with the woman. The first thing we learn anything from is our mother. You know what I'm saying? That's everybody. Our mother nurtures us. You know what I'm saying? Breastfeeds us, and we're more influenced from our mother. We spent 9 months in our mother, so we're gonna love her and embrace her the most. So if we really want to change this world, if we really want to change the world, we have to change it through our women first. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people won't say that. You know what I'm saying? When we go through a man, all these male leaders, what we really need right now, we need to get our women. We need to make our women stand up. You know what I'm saying? And influence our children. Influence our young little women, our young little men, because our women, they have the biggest influence on our youth. That's the biggest influence on the kids. You know what I'm saying? So we just start loving our women and put them back in charge, because they are the gods on this physical plane. They keep life going. And when I say women, I'm talking about men. The only reason they call them women is because they have a womb. We have to stop the separation. You know what I'm saying? Woman, man, all these ego things. No, we're all one. We're all one. You see, they have the chicken name, womb, man, and then man. You know what I'm saying? Woman, they're just a more advanced man. They are a more advanced man. You know what I'm saying? Women are more intuitive, more in tune nature. You know what I'm saying? They keep life going on the physical plane. So we need to give this love back to her. We need to give this stick back to her and keep this life going on the physical plane. She is the key. She is the key to move to that next level. She is the key to life itself. Love women. Women is the key. I just want people to know that women are important. And once we go back to our women, then we go back to ourselves. You know what I'm saying?